All right, it just went final in Athens from between the hedges. Your number 3 Georgia Bulldogs take down the number 1 Tennessee Volunteers. An absolutely dominating performance from Georgia. This was not as close as the score indicated. Total wire-to-wire win for the Bulldogs here. They looked fantastic, led by that defense. They shut down one of the best offenses in the country. Your Heisman favorite, Hendon Hooker, really couldn't get anything going. Jalen Hyatt, not much to be seen from him. So a fantastic performance by the Bulldogs, and they've had some serious doubters this season. They were your defending national champions, but hey, the college football playoff said, you haven't looked crisp, you haven't looked clean. They ranked them at number 3. Tennessee, your number 1 team. And they learned from the old dogs the hard way. You're kind of the new guys on the block as far as being a top team. It's tough week in and week out when you're the top dog. But their season isn't over yet. Tennessee still has a chance, but they're going to need some help. And Georgia now firmly in control. They should be in no matter what, barring a disaster. Probably going to be the number 1 overall seed this next week in the rankings. I'm going to break down everything going on with the story, give you my 2 cents on the game. What does this mean for these teams moving forward as far as the college football playoff as a whole? But before we get into that, drop a quick like on this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Really helps the channel out a lot. We're growing like crazy. But all right, 27-13 the final in Athens, and this was a wire-to-wire victory from Georgia. It was 24-6 at halftime. It really never felt that close. Tennessee got a late touchdown and an onside kick attempt, but man, it was totally domination by this Georgia defense, shutting down your Heisman favorite. Again, he wasn't terrible, 23 of 33, but only a $195 and an INT. Not good enough. Jalen Hyatt, your top receiver, only had 63 yards receiving, but on 6 catches, so it was decent. Wright could not get anything going. 21 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown late. They did manage to keep the streak going, Tennessee. 40 straight games with a touchdown. It's now 41. So good for them on that. But hey, man, sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw. The weather turned on them real quick in the second half. Georgia kind of missed an opportunity to put this game away. They were up 27-6, and they forced a fumble and gave it right back with another fumble. So I would have really liked to see Georgia put this thing away to really make a statement. But a 14-point win at home is as solid as can be. And hey, Tennessee, it's tough, but they really had trouble today. Your first real road test, it felt like, against a great football team. 8 false starts today. They had 3 is their most in a single game. They had 8 today, so they really struggled on the offensive line. Georgia brought the blitzes like crazy. How many sacks did Georgia have today? I mean, good God, it was absolutely insane what Georgia was doing here. They were all over the quarterback. They were blitzing like crazy. Stetson Bennett had a real nice first half, was very efficient throwing the football. It was a real strong performance by the Bulldogs overall. I really like this Georgia team once again. If they get confident they're starting to roll, they are going to be a super tough out for anybody to beat. They have a real strong chance to get back into this national championship picture. But Tennessee is now behind the 8 ball as far as the rankings are concerned. They really don't have anybody left on their schedule. Let's pull this up. I think it's a couple of Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. That's really not helping your schedule any much. And Georgia's got a pretty soft schedule too. They have Mississippi State, Kentucky, and then Georgia Tech. Not the easiest games in the world, but more than comfortable games that they should dominate wire to wire. So Georgia should be in the SEC title game against maybe Alabama, maybe Ole Miss. This really sets things up. Alabama runs the table, they're in. And then what happens if Alabama beats Georgia? And we're sitting with an SEC 3-way. Alabama beats Georgia. Georgia beats Tennessee. Tennessee beat Bama. You're in a 3-way tie with 3 one-loss teams. It makes things really awkward. And now we got the other teams here. Tennessee's going to drop now. I don't know how much they're going to punish Tennessee for this loss. It was a pretty dominating loss. I expect them to fall out of the top 4. Maybe they keep Tennessee in at 4, but Alabama should jump if they beat number 10 LSU tonight. So Alabama probably going to be looking around here. Michigan should slide up. They're also undefeated. TCU was really bad for 3 quarters today, then absolutely romped a bad Texas Tech team. So they're going to get in. But yeah, this is real tough for Tennessee, man. They're going to need a lot of help. Obviously, the Ohio State-Michigan winner is in. The SEC winner is in. Georgia's probably safe, even if they lose that SEC title game. So now we're talking and undefeated Clemson, maybe Notre Dame beats them. I'm not sure about that. Undefeated Big 12 champ TCU. Tennessee is out, man. They're not even going to win their division. And the same goes for the Ohio State-Michigan loser, another one-loss team. It's really going to be tough here. Now, I think Tennessee is your first one-loss non-conference champion in. So let's say Clemson loses and wins the Pac-12, or TCU win, or not Pac-12, ACC. TCU wins the Big 12 with one loss. Oregon runs the table, or USC runs the table to win with one loss. You really have an interesting conversation on your hands. How much value do you put in the SEC, and how much punishment do you give to Tennessee for losing to Georgia? Tennessee, unlike most SEC East teams, did get to play Bama. Now, this is kind of a down Bama team, but they had Bryce Young, and they beat them. They hung 40 on them. The defense isn't been as good, but they won the game. So they do have a real nice win in Tennessee. As far as playing Alabama, none of these other teams are going to have a win against a top opponent. I mean, Oregon already got trounced by Georgia, but if that's their only loss, it's really going to help out Oregon when it comes down to it. If you only lost to Georgia week 1 and you win the Pac-12, beating number 9 USC, who will probably be ranked higher come Pac-12 championship weekend, you have a real strong shot of getting in. So Tennessee is really behind the 8 ball here. I think they're in trouble. My bet is it's going to be Georgia, Alabama, the Ohio State-Michigan winner, and then probably Clemson. Maybe Oregon sneaks back in here, but they've got a lot of heavy lifting to do. I think the Big 12 is not getting a team in. Just not a very good conference overall as a whole. So they're not getting in, I don't think. I think you're putting in Alabama if they win the conference championship against Georgia. Now, if Georgia beats Alabama, that knocks them out, and that really opens up a spot for the Pac-12 or Big 12 winner, especially if it's one-loss Oregon or undefeated TCU. So that's really going to help things up a lot. Tennessee needs to start praying and hope the football gods are with them. It would be fun to see Tennessee, a new team, in the college football playoff. I think the SEC is the best conference. I think this is a really good football team. Sometimes you just have a bad outing, especially on the road. These are still kids, 18, 19, 21-year-old kids. It's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win on the road in the NFL, and those are grown-ass men. It's really hard to win on the road in college. So I get it, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. With how big of a statement was this for Georgia? What's the college football playoff going to shake out like? Again, drop a quick like on this video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're not, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.